People living on Florida's panhandle could be just about 48 hours away from a hurricane.
It's expected to make landfall as a Category 3 as
150 mile-per-hour winds. That is 7 miles shy of being a Cat 5.
October 10th, 2018. Hurricane Michael smashes into the Florida Panhandle, leaving little standing in its path. Tyndall Air Force Base, a key part of the network of bases protecting the continental U.S., took a direct hit. The storm peeled off roofs, tore down trees and power lines, and caused significant structural damage to buildings.
As you go from the airport to where the base is, it got more and more devastation. Trees down, buildings destroyed, there were piles of debris everywhere. Medians in the road were stacked up with debris. The base was eerily quiet.
The closer we got to the base, the more we realized this was worse than we thought it was going to be.
We pull up to Tyndall Air Force Base, and it's just complete devastation. I mean, I couldn't believe it in my eyes. You see pictures, you hear descriptions, but until you're there walking the ground, you don't have a true appreciation of the devastation that Hurricane Michael caused.
I grew up in Louisiana with lots of hurricanes, and so this was so much more devastating than anything that I experienced as I was growing up.
Before Michael made landfall, the Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center began response planning in San Antonio. As soon as the storm passed, AFI-MSC began receiving requests.
We figured out that they had an immediate need for MREs and some sort of follow-on food service capability. So MREs went in there as soon as the base was able to receive it, which was just a couple of days. And then within a few weeks after that, they were able to contract out for an actual field kitchen, and they were feeding hot meals to the entire populace. Every single one of our hard billet lodging operations they were all damaged. Some worse than others. Some were completely destroyed. So the initial cleanup teams stayed in tents, and that went on for months while they were trying to bring all the rooms back.
There was no fence. There was no perimeter fence. I think it was ACC tapped into one of their resources, which is the 820th, who drove from Valdosta, Georgia, with 150 or more, maybe 200 cops to secure the area and kind of reestablish that security. And then we took to post. We went and made sure that those Skywatch towers were working, that the troops knew how to work them.
In order to assess damages and to make determinations on facilities to preserve as much as possible and to clean up debris, on October 19th, AFI-MSC sent their vice commander to lead Task Force Phoenix.
We had the ability to see change each and every day. It was just unbelievable the amount of work that we were accomplishing. Perhaps the most amazing thing was the diversity of the task force. We had soldiers, we had sailors, we had active duty and reserve, we had folks from across the civil engineer community, both Prime Beef as well as Red Horse, but that wasn't just it. It wasn't just an engineer force. We also had folks from the acquisition community, from the Force Support Services community. We had folks from the resource management, comptroller community, and they all came together to form up about a 112-person team, joint service team, to get after this assess, determine, preserve, and clear mission.
To see the amount of progress we made in the 2 months that I was there, it was an incredible, it was a very proud moment as an Air Force member to see that many people come together and get such a devastation cleared out and get the mission going. It was impressive.
It's been a year, and the progress made with the resources available has been remarkable.
We were on it pretty immediately. We've had quite a bit of cleanup done on the base. There is quite a bit of demolition that's happened. That demolition clearly needs to occur before we can start building new construction.
You know, the first 4 or 5 months after the hurricane, it was pretty hard to imagine that this base was going to recover quickly. But every day it's gotten a little bit better. If you left here 8 or 9 months ago and came back today, you would be shocked at how much better the base looks and the community.
In that year, we've restored nearly all of the mission sets that we had on the base prior to the storm hitting. We've been able to bring back about 80% of all the people that we had on the base.
In November when I was down there, it was very dark. No street lights, buildings didn't have exterior lights. It just, it was like you're out in the middle of nowhere. By January, things were starting to look better. By April, the trailers had started coming in and most people were back to work, and it was almost back to being a normal base.
Air Force IMSC and Air Force Civil Engineering Center have sent to Tyndall their champions. We get all of the expertise that the Air Force has to offer to ensure that we do this rebuild correct.
You know, the Air Force has made a really strong commitment to build Tyndall Air Force Base, not only as a base, but as the base of the future. And they've sent us the best planners, engineers, and experts, subject matter experts that have really focused on what this should look like and how the community can interface with the rebuild. I'm very, very impressed with all that has been done by the Air Force and with AFCEC and AFIMSC to make sure the best experts are here on site.
We're doing a 30 to 40 year plan at Tyndall over the next 5 years. So it was incredible foresight on our leadership to say, hey, let's take advantage of this opportunity to do some, not just the base of the future, but also the realignment of missions.
The silver lining to what happened out there is we get to build the base of the future. We got, it's not a complete clean slate, but it's close. And we get to build what the next generation of bases should look like, and we're going to do it right from the ground up.
The landscape's changing. It's getting better day by day. We're not there yet. And we're going to be able to bring back this warfighting platform to tomorrow's standards for the next fight. Tyndall Air Force Base was a place that we could go to take care of our own. So we're invested. Everybody who's been through Tyndall Air Force Base is curious how it's going today and how can I help for tomorrow. So yes, we're going through a fight today at Tyndall to rebuild, and we're going to continue to make that fight, but know that it's going to pay dividends in the future for the Air Force's capability and capacity to take the war to the enemy.
We had our runway open less than 24 hours after the storm passed. We were conducting our flying operations in and around Tyndall Air Force Base very soon, within a month after the storm. We were hosting exercises on the base, aircraft coming in from other bases around our Air Force to train at Tyndall in less than 2 months after the storm. And that is because of the sense of purpose of our airmen who know their mission, who own their mission, and are resilient in getting that mission done. We are in this together, and we could not rebuild the base if not for that tremendous support, that direct involvement, those boots on the ground from AFCEC and Air Force IMSC.